If you feel like sugar has more control over you than you'd like to admit, then this episode is for you. I'm going to be talking about, should you quit sugar completely? Some people give it all up and some people can do it slow, and I'm going to be breaking that down today. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. So why is sugar so hard to feel controlled around? So sugar isn't hard because you're weak. It's hard because it's everywhere. It's socially acceptable. It's shoved in our face. It gives us a quick dopamine hit that makes us want it more. It temporarily feels like it's lowering our stress. And we're often replacing something else that we need with sugar. Like maybe we actually need comfort or rest or connection, and we're replacing that with sugar because that feels like the easy thing to do. So especially when we're stressed or we're tired or we're hormonal, our brain wants relief. And sugar gives our brain that quick relief. Not long relief and nothing that really makes us feel good long term, but it is that quick thing like our brain will just automatically go for. And then when we start getting perimenopause and menopause, our sleep may be worse or hormones are shifting. Stress might be higher, even from hormone shifting, or maybe we have aging parents or teens or work. And our recovery in our body is slower. So that can make our cravings seem even louder. So the big question, should you completely give it up or should you slow down? And the answer is not the same for everyone. Some women do better with going all in and completely giving it up. But also, some women do better if they just slow down and start putting boundaries on it. So for some people, like having that little bit keeps their cravings alive and they can't control it. And on the flip side, for others, when they completely remove it, it creates this scarcity and obsession and they just can't do it. So I want you to think for yourself. In the past, have you done better with clear boundaries and moderation? When you remove something completely, do you feel calm or panicked? And if you have just a little when it comes to sugar, does it lead to more or does it satisfy you? And also, what might be different this season of life? So although in the past maybe something didn't work for you, is this season different? Because sometimes we're just at a different place in our life where maybe something we tried before didn't work, but now we're in a different mental space or have the support or something, and it can be different. So remember, our strategy when we're in our 20s and 30s, when we're trying to lose weight, may not work when we're in our 40s and 50s and 60s. So we really have to look at this whole picture of ourselves. And we really can't compare that to someone who was in their 20s. I know my life is way different than when I was in my 20s. So I'm going to give you two different examples here. So this first example is a client who goes all in and just takes sugar out. So typically I'll hear this person say, I don't moderate sugar well. If I have one, I just keep going. And they know that they can't just put boundaries and sort of moderate it. And there's really no shame in that. For this person, that constant, maybe I'll just have a little, kept that mental noise alive. And she wasn't able to really put that boundary. Because in that moment, that dopamine, that feeling good, that stress, and covering up that stress with sugar just took over. So this person said in this season, which I think is really important because when you do it, you don't want to say forever. Pick your timeline. It could even be for this week, for this month, for this couple months, whatever that is. You decide, I'm not eating sweets. And so this person started with 1 month. So not forever, not as a punishment, just a clear boundary. And she wasn't doing this alone. She was working with me, so she had accountability. She was able to check in with me. She was able to share her experience of when those cravings did hit. And the first few days are the hardest. And the first week is hard. And then for her, it started to get easier. She was almost like building up this muscle of saying no. So it didn't feel as hard as when she first started. And her brain started to shift. She wasn't thinking about sugar all the time and feeling this like urgent need to have it. That was starting to calm down. And she thought, I can do this. And what started as 1 month, she did it for 2, and then she did it for 3. And after that, she decided that very clearly she was going to add it back in. But she was very precise about what she was going to do. She was going to have 1 dessert or treat a week. And that was it. And she was going to be very intentional about it. So it's not because someone brought some treats into the office or it was someone's birthday party. It was just very intentional. And she needed those strong boundaries to be able to do that. But now that she hadn't had sugar for 3 months, all those cravings and the stuff going on inside of her body tamed down. So she was able to actually do better with some boundaries around sugar, where she wasn't able to do that at first. All right, so now I'm going to give you the other example of the client who was more someone who could slow down on it and have some boundaries. So this person couldn't imagine cutting sugar completely out. It just almost wasn't even an option. So we didn't remove it. Instead, we built boundaries. So questions I asked her, is this going to be a daily or a weekly thing? There's no right answer here. What would actually feel satisfying to her but still work with her goals? When will she have it? Why would she be choosing this? So this person decided that she would have dessert twice a week, and she would eat it at a table. So she's not going to eat it standing or just pick it off or mindlessly. She wasn't going to eat in the car, and she wasn't going to eat it after something stressful as a reward. I should separate that. She wasn't going to eat it after something stressful, and she wasn't going to eat it as a reward for a hard week, because we have to break down those emotional connections with sugar too. So this was hard for her. And it really took a few weeks to be able to get to a spot where she was able to do it more successfully, because she had these patterns of experiencing something stressful and grabbing a dessert. So we worked on the mindset work, the emotional work, what was really going on for her when she was grabbing that when she didn't want to. And we worked on the positive tools that she could use. And so it wasn't completely perfect. It took a little bit of time. But because she was working with me, she didn't give up. And I think this is a key for a lot of people. A lot of times when we're doing things for our health, it doesn't go smoothly. It's pretty bumpy. It's pretty messy. We're going to mess up, right? Even I have times where I eat more than I want to or something like that. It's going to happen to all of us, and we have to know how to rebound from that. And that's probably one common thing I work with a lot of clients with, is how we can rebound from that. Because a lot of people just give up, and really that's the easy thing to do. Oh man, I blew it. I stressed eat, so now that's my 3rd sugar for the week. I might as well give up. I'm not going to do this. However that narrative goes in your head, maybe. But when we're able to drop that and we can keep working, then we can get to where we want to be. All right, so next I'm just going to give you a few ideas of practical steps to start. So one is just to remove liquid sugar. So think soda, sweet teas, flavored coffee drinks, juice, all of those sweet things that we don't need and aren't good for us. And I would everyone's on a different journey here, but maybe for someone who's already removed those things, I would also question, are you eating sweetened things that don't have sugar per se, like sweetened with artificial sweeteners and things like that? Because even if we don't have the calories from it, it can still increase that drive for sugar and sweet things in our brain too. Another practical tip is protein before sugar. So you don't want to fight a craving on an empty tank. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough protein and also that you're really eating enough, right? We don't want to be famished because our body is going to reach for those carbs and those sugars naturally. So make sure that you're having protein before you have sugar. And the last little tip here, which I sort of highlighted before, is expect it to be bumpy. This is important. Get rid of the idea that this should be easy and you should be able to do it. When you hear those shoulds, I should be able to do this, this should be easy, usually something is off in our mindset. So if sugar has been your stress relief, if it's been your reward, your comfort, your celebration, it takes some time to stop those patterns. So when things get bumpy and you don't stick to what you want to do, you got to give yourself grace and you got to figure out what you really need, what's at the core of it, and how can you start changing those patterns in your brain. So this really isn't just about food. It's about our nervous system regulation. So when I am coaching someone, we're working on identifying their patterns, their thoughts, their emotions, what's going on for them. Are they a type of person who maybe at this point in their life can go all in and say no to sugar? Or does that feel too scarce and they'll actually do better with boundaries? Is there a way that we can build some structure and boundaries without creating panic? Can we build up tools to adjust when life happens and we don't do what we want to and not give up? And the big thing, we have to really work on what's going underneath the craving, the thoughts, the emotions. When we can start to really get to those and have tools that support those things, then we're not driven to eat sugar as much. So if you're tired of extremes and starting over and not knowing what to do and just giving up on yourself and feeling like you can't do this, this is exactly what I help women to do with my coaching. It's not perfect, it's not instant, but it's step by step where you learn these tools so that you can have lasting change, so that you can think about food differently and that you can feel differently, that you can handle the stressors that pop up in life without turning to food. So I know a lot of times people want that like quick fix, like tell me the meal plan and the exact workouts that I need to do. And for a lot of people, those can be helpful, but there's usually something under it that's driving it that we have to work on. And a lot of times people don't want to do that work, but that is exactly the work that can create the change you're looking for. So if you feel like you need any support, check the description and set up a free coaching call with me. We'll be able to chat and see if we're a fit and see where you are and what you are ready for in your health journey. All right, friends, I hope you guys have a great week and keep on moving.